Warning, the following gameplay does include mature content and multiple trigger warnings as listed here. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello everyone! Cheshire the Cat on the scene with his buddy Final, here to replay Rule of Rose. How about I bring the game up on my monitor so I can actually see it instead of watching it through OBS? What is wrong with me? Here we go. We're going into October now. The Rag Princess.
Did we skip the gingerbread house?
Gingerbread House?
June.
June hasn't happened yet.
Okay, that's weird. This is out of order then.
Yeah, the game... Okay, we talked about this last time, but June happens later. Which is really weird.
This might be a different regional version then. For this guide.
Like, is it a difference of the US version versus the English version? Oh, there goes away my costume.
Run, bitch! Run!
Oh, wait. No, I'm getting pulled away. Would you like to save? Are you kidding me? JK, it's June!
Okay, I was gonna say, apparently this is the Japanese version I'm reading on. I don't think there's any major differences.
So, oh, that's right. You experienced July, August, September, then June. That's what happened last time.
And then October.
So, JK, we're playing through June. We're in the gingerbread house. I just saved twice. Let's do this.
Hey, always double tap to save. Always double tap to save.
The gingerbread house. So,
oh, go ahead.
I was going to say, this is where we learn about Joshua.
Yeah.
Not gonna lie, seeing Gregory in normal clothes feels really freaking weird after seeing him as Stray Dog.
Yeah.
When the unlucky girl awoke, she was in a rose garden. The place was strange, but familiar. Looking around, the girl noticed that her faithful companion was missing. The lonely, unlucky girl became very sad. Right, because Brown didn't exist during this time period. Moreover, for a quick explanation when we bring up Joshua, at this point in time, Jennifer would have been at an age where she could be mistaken for a girl or a boy.
And Jennifer would have been somewhere between 6 and 8. Really young.
Wait a minute, she spent 2 years at this guy's house? Because I thought she was 10 when she was at the orphanage.
No, she was like 8 or 9 at the orphanage. But some of the timeline's a little bit vague. Like she's 19 now. So she wasn't over 10 when the orphanage events happened.
So she's reliving about 2 years worth of trauma.
Basically, yeah.
Okay, now I'm starting to kind of see the timeline, like, in my head. Because the thing that makes this weird is that the game depicts it at first like this all happened in 1 year. But if it happened across 2 years, that would make a little more sense.
I think she was in, Gregory's house for at least several months.
Okay, I'm going to put some stuff into the waste bin. And I am now entering Gregory's house. As far as I know, there is no fighting or anything in this house.
If this is June and how would this be June 1930?
Yeah. There is no conflict anywhere in this chapter, as far as I know. I'm still keeping the umbrella handy, mind you, but
This could not have taken place at June 1930 then. Because this would have had to take place in June 1929.
unless if the airship crash happened. Sorry, I'm kind of walking through the garden, just exploring the house right now because I'm trying to remember things. So what we can gather is the airship crashed in 1929.
Well, yeah, but she was already in the orphanage in April.
Of 1930.
Yeah.
Wait a minute,
So for her-
did the game screw up its own continuity here?
Yeah, apparently so, because this would have to be June 1929 if she's in Gregory's house. In June.
Biscuit shed. Thick smell of dust and mold fills the shed. That might either A, be a translation error, or B, just, you know, a continuity error would still make sense if she's reliving the trauma out of order in her own head.
There's also that she wouldn't know exactly how long she's been in that basement.
Okay, so there's a big hole in the wall as if something heavy had been slammed into it. Oh, that's right, you can hear... I forget, you can hear Gregory talking inside the house. Oh, God! I never saw that. Yeah, this was the chapter where I feel like I missed a lot of information because I kind of just ran into the house without thinking.
Yeah, this is pretty much the chapter that explains what happened between the airship and the orphanage.
It's just interesting that the game... There's a shovel? I didn't even know there was a shovel here. You want to pick it up? Cool. Farming tools are worn down. Yeah, because I made the dummy mistake of just going straight into the house. The ground has been dug up in several places. So, was Gregory already contemplating the big you-know-what while holding Jennifer essentially hostage in his basement?
Yeah, he was already really messed up by then.
So it's almost like she was basically... He perceived it as she was Joshua given to him from beyond death.
Like, he was farther gone than that. I mean, he just thought she was Joshua.
What's inside?
Despite the fact that Joshua probably had black hair, not blonde.
I'm gonna try peeking in through more windows. Okay, I've never actually seen what he mumbles. I just hear him saying, like, come Thursday, come Friday. See here. Good night, Joshua. Oh, so he's muttering like the Stray Dog rules on repeat. I thought Stray Dog was something the orphans made up about him.
Sort of. He may have actually picked it up from them. It's really hard to tell.
Because he was so far mentally gone.
Yeah.
Okay, I go into the house from the back, right?
Apparently there's a map on the left side of the house.
On the outside?
Yeah. I think you can just go in through the front door.
Alright, let me see if I can find the map. I didn't even see a map last time. On the left side of the house.
I think it's the back door.
No, I'm not seeing a map. Is the... Oh, in the mailbox, maybe? You can barely read the faded name on the old mailbox. Gregory M. Wilson. Huh.
Maybe there's not a map in this version.
Okay, can I make an obligatory joke before I try the front door?
Oh.
Hey, Mr. Wilson!
Oh.
Oh yeah, I can just walk right in through the front door. There's all sorts of trash here. Empty biscuit tin, cans, torn newspapers, old photos, etc. As far as I know, this is also the shortest chapter in the game.
I think so.
The color's faded, so it's difficult to tell whether it's a drawing or a photo. Alright, so... The other thing to factor in here is the house probably looks decrepit and ruined because this is how Jennifer remembers it. As a child. Not... But there's also the factor that there's clearly something wrong with Gregory. But it's similar to what happened with the Mermaid chapter, we can only make assumptions based on what she saw as a child and is now re-perceiving as an adult. Re-perceiving? Is that a word, even? Reassessing?
Probably reassessing.
Reliving?
Yeah.
A coat with mud on it is hung from the closet along with a hat. The Little Soldiers' Barracks. There's a large box. You want to try opening it? No? Want to try looking out the window? Well, I can just sneak in and out through the window. Hello?
Oh, okay.
Oh, and this is how I get into that room that was all sealed off. Yeah, I really should have taken time and explored this chapter more. Climbing through the window, the girl found herself in a room full of floating toys. I didn't see this the first time. The toys wait patiently for their master, even as they slowly decay. So this is Joshua's room.
Mhm.
Most likely.
Yeah.
The toy airships and airplanes. Toy pilots. Whoever's room this was, they must have all loved all things that can fly. That would explain why Gregory was on the airship.
Well, he wasn't on the airship, but
Or watching it.
yeah.
A creepy old toy figure stares up at the sky. Yeah, I missed all of this in the first playthrough. Wow! Newspapers on the floor. 21st June 1929. Another unexplained disappearance. Here we go. So, yeah, this didn't happen in 1930. This happened in 1929.
This part happened in 1929.
There has been another mysterious disappearance of a child recently. Following missing children reports on the 7th and the 14th, police are now investigating this case as both a possible kidnapping and a missing person. So Gregory might have been kidnapping more people than just Jennifer.
It is pretty heavily implied.
Which also means they probably died.
Yeah. Yeah.
Here. Local residents are advised not to allow children outside unsupervised and to take caution around any suspicious individuals. Like a man mumbling to himself about the rules of a stray dog while holding a revolver against his own noggin.
Yeah, basically.
Eerie toy soldiers patiently await their commander's return. Oh. And then I can't get out that way because that door... The fact that the door is all sealed up. Oh! A grand airship gracefully rose into the sky, carrying the dreams of a new era. However, its glory was short-lived and abruptly ended in a tragic accident.
Yep.
She wasn't sure why, but the unlucky girl couldn't take her eyes off the toppled airship. It just scooted across the floor and hit a bus that's currently clipping with the floor. This room is not pixeled right. Oh, God. I don't know if that's the emulation or oops.
It could be a little bit of both.
I am beyond, like, words here because... Yeah, no, I don't want to read the newspaper again. I feel really bad for missing this in my first playthrough.
I was wondering why you were really confused about Joshua, but
Fact
this
that
was Joshua's room. And the big thing about Joshua is that he had some kind of wasting disease. And Gregory did not have the money to take him to a doctor. Yes, hello, Scarlet. Welcome to sadness.
So Joshua literally just like leprosy or like
possibly tuberculosis.
Tuberculosis. I thought tuberculosis affected your throat.
It affects the lungs and throat, and everybody's read Edgar Allan Poe, I hope. A lot of his stuff was themed around tuberculosis because that was a massive issue during that time. But it was an issue until antibiotics became widespread. Nowadays, tuberculosis is dangerous because it's incredibly contagious, but it can be treated.
You pop an antibiotic and like whoop-de-doo. Same thing with...
I mean, you'll probably be in the hospital under quarantine with some IVs for a while. Possible lung damage, but you're not likely to die from it anymore. But in 1929, with no access to a doctor, it would have definitely been fatal, especially in a kid.
Like, I feel like people forget things like pneumonia, tuberculosis, so many illnesses were harsh killers.
Like polio.
Polio was a killer before medicine made the advancements that it has. We may not have the cure for cancer, but damned if we haven't made progress.
So Gregory watched his son waste away over like almost a year. I think you can find his diary sometime later in the game.
How did he not catch tuberculosis, I guess is a good question.
It could have been tuberculosis, but it could have been something else.
What would be something that would have been less contagious?
Some kind of autoimmune disorder, possibly.
HIV?
Or even leukemia. Well, it could have been leukemia, because he did just really go south over several months.
Oop. Sorry, I peeked into a room and now I see Gregory drinking over a cabinet.
Yeah.
And Jennifer went out to the room. I'm going to try to open it again. Kitchen. So that's another thing, is I would open a door, and then I would see Gregory in there, and I thought this might be like a stealth segment. So I didn't enter the room. I never thought that I was experiencing things, so I'm going to really take my time and explore this one. Cabinet's glass door is too dirty to see through. So now I'm in the kitchen. Desk covers a shelf and might not have been used for a while. So, I guess I can now go under the assumption that I don't have to stealth my way around the house or around Gregory.
I'm gonna double check that.
A sour smell is coming from the old rusty refrigerator. Unwashed dishes are stacked up in the full with a foul smell.
I think you're good until you go to the basement.
then I have to be careful.
And then I think it's like mostly a cutscene.
Oh. Yeah. Okay, yeah, so there's no actual... Now that I know that I'm not actually going to fight anything in this cutscene, or in this chapter.
Once you go into the basement, you will be locked in the basement.
Right. Lavatory. Oh. I can play with the toilet. Sorry, focus.
Out of 10, excellent game.
10 out of 10, excellent game. Wait, does not flush. 0 out of 10, horrible game.
I mean, the water may have been off. There's not even a pull for it. Well, yeah, it's not going to flush without a pull.
Okay, so remember how I've mentioned that my family is taking a trip to France?
Yeah.
Do you know it's a thing that they had to get used to outside of jet lag that I think you'll find really funny?
What was it? Bidets.
The bathrooms.
Oh yeah.
So
they're different in Europe.
So this is actually kind of funny. I woke up at 3 in the morning to a stomping sound on the floor below me in our apartment because we had the apartment that we had in the south was like a 2-bedroom apartment that had an upstairs and a downstairs. It sounds ritzier than it is.
It's like one of those townhouses.
Yeah.
The little
Like upstairs is 2 bedrooms and 2 bathrooms, but then when you get downstairs, it's a kitchen, dining, and living room.
Yeah.
Just one room. But I heard a stomping sound downstairs, and what that sound was at 3 in the morning, and I knocked on the door, like, because I thought it was my mom. I peeked into her bedroom, and I guess it was kind of ritzy. We had 3 bathrooms. The sound, I checked it to see what it was. It was my mom trying to find the floor pump to flush the toilet.
Oh.
Because she was so tired. She was just like, dum, dum.
Oh,
Wait,
no.
I'm back in America.
Oh no. Oh yeah.
Oh god. Dirty
I
pool
ended
of
up
water.
like, oh, Randy Feltface and the Ernest Hemingway. Yeah, Ernest Hemingway managed to pull a skylight down on his face trying to flush a toilet.
Ernest Hemingway did?
Yes. He thought he was pulling on a cable, thought he was flushing a toilet, and pulled a skylight down on his head.
Ooh. Now I'm seeing Gregory again on the couch. You know, this probably should have been a clue that I would have been able to explore these rooms anyway. Living room. God.
Like, the interesting part is that this is stuff that Jennifer would probably never have seen while in this house.
So this is just like her imagine. No, she may have seen it. She may have seen it when, like, if Gregory, like, let her out to eat, or when she escaped.
Maybe.
The phone cables have been yanked out. It's impossible to call anyone. It would make sense for her to have seen this when she tried to escape, which is why half of the rooms look all tossed over and barren. Because she only would have seen so much. Are these souvenirs? Even fond memories are now covered in dust. Empty bottles and cigarette packs litter the table. That's another thing, is you feel a faint warmth from the liquor-stained sofa. It is very... Here, printed inside of the covers, neatly arranged books is... Inside the covers of the neatly arranged books is the name Gregory M. Wilson. Like, so... Is it safe to assume that Gregory would have wanted to be an author? Given that he clearly, like, wrote stories and loved stories.
I think he may have wanted to at one point.
But that all disappeared with Joshua.
Yeah. Like, he would write books for Joshua. And like some of the storybooks, may have been something like what he would have written for Jennifer, in place of Joshua.
Hmm. Yeah, now here I see him at a desk. Laughing. Like, depression over the loss of his son aside, it's also safe to assume that he completely ruined his brain with alcohol.
Go. Given the time period, possibly poppy juice, laudanum.
Blood, inks, cigarettes, cigarette butts. Okay, what is laudanum?
Laudanum was a mixture of, we'll say poppy extract and alcohol.
I think we're allowed to say the word opioids. We did talk about that when we brought up Chinese history while playing Power
Yeah.
Washer. So I think that word is in like an educational context. This is fine.
So all the way up until probably the late 1930s, laudanum was kind of used as a catch-all cure for any kind of mental anything, even sleep deprivation, pain, obviously. And it was a mixture of opium and alcohol, which, as you can imagine, was not great.
That sounds like it would kill your brain cells in an instant. Also, I just got a picture of a very faded Joshua. Sweet and spicy, but the pictures of a happy family.
Never a mention of Joshua's mom, so I don't know if she just passed away. Like, she could have died in childbirth. Again, given the time period.
The backyard looked more like it was raised rather than plowed. I didn't want to look out the window again. There's something on the windowsill. I don't want to see that. Is that like a mouse trap on the windowsill? Kitty, hi Rocco. Okay, I guess we're not experiencing that. So... Oh, I found Greg's diary. I never read this!
Okay, so this is one of the biggest plot points in the game.
This probably explains why through the second half of the game I was just like... Hang on, let me find a good sound effect for this, because literally I went through the entirety of the game like, okay, we're going through the airship with the other orphans. Okay, I'm following it. Okay, the other orphans are terrible. Okay, now we're getting dragged to this man's house. Okay, now we're learning about his son, I think? Okay, now we're back at the orphan... What? What?
Yeah.
What? So, because I'm a ding-dong, I thought I had to stealth around. Can you blame me on that?
No, I can't blame you, because this does definitely look like a stealth mission.
Ugh. Alright, but before I get to reading this, so given what you just said about the laudanum and what's in it, and we see all the cigarettes around, we see all of the alcohol around, have we ever seen Gregory with a pipe? Honest question.
I don't think so.
Do you think he'd be the type to own a pipe?
I mean, possibly.
Because I see a lot of like depictions of 1930s men where they have like a pipe in their mouth and a cigarette in their hands and a highball in their hands. Like literally anything to not be sober.
Yeah.
So it would not be a stretch to assume that Gregory would have been in the same position. Alright, here. Sunday, June 1st. Clear skies. Today I weeded the fields. Work went well. Monday, June 2nd. Clear skies. Today I weeded the fields. Work went well. Today, Tuesday, June 3rd. Cloudy. Weeding again. Tomorrow, I'm thinking of taking my son Joshua with me out to the fields. Wednesday, June 4th. Clear skies. Today I weeded the fields. Work went well. So did he take Joshua to the fields or no? Okay. Thursday, June 5th, rain in the afternoon. Weeded the field again. Joshua isn't feeling well, so I worked in the fields alone, as always. Friday. Oh, this might actually be how he didn't catch it, was he just wasn't in the house.
I mean, maybe, but like I said, if it was something like leukemia, he wouldn't be catching it anyway.
Friday, June 6th, clear skies today. I weeded the fields. Work went well. Saturday, June 7th, rainy. Weeding again. Tomorrow morning. How many days does this guy spend weeding?
Well,
So he's a farmer.
yeah.
I'll go into town to sell peas, so tonight I must make preparations. It is a busy day indeed. Sunday, June 8th, clear skies. I went to the market and sold peas and carrots and hoped to be able to feed Joshua something nutritious, but sales were not good, so I was not able to buy much. Sell what you grew. Or eat what you grew. Monday, June... Wait a minute. Okay, I'm reading the number right. Monday, June 9th, clear skies. Today I weeded the fields. Work went well. Tuesday, June 10th, clear skies. Joshua has been misbehaving. He went and ate sweets out of the cupboard without permission. Not much of a writer, after all. Wednesday, June 11th, cloudy. Weeding the fields again. It was a bit chilly today. I'll have to give Joshua a blanket so he won't catch a cold. Thursday, June 12th, cloudy. Joshua's under the weather. He has a slight fever, so I fed him some hot pea soup. Friday, June 13th, clear skies. Today I went weeded the fields. Work went well. Saturday, 14th, cloudy. Planted peas in the ground. I've noticed that his writing gets, like, sloppier and sloppier as this goes on, too.
Yeah.
So he may have been drinking before Joshua passed away.
Possibly.
Sunday, June 15th, rainy. I spent the day in my room drawing a picture book for Joshua. I'm sure he'll enjoy this one. Monday, June 16th, cloudy. Today I cleaned out the barn. Joshua told me he liked my latest story. Nothing pleases me more than to see my son happy. So that would explain why Joshua asks you to read the book at the start of the game. And why he asks you to continue reading them. And it wouldn't be a stretch for Jennifer to imagine that based on possibly Gregory, like, giving her... Here's something. Would it be safe to assume that the different storybooks we read in each chapter from Gregory are ones that he wrote for her while she was in the basement, or possibly that is her brain's way of interpreting the different events and being able to separate them by reading them as stories that Gregory wrote for her as Joshua?
The latter is a bit more likely because how specific the storybooks are.
So her brain could just be making up the stories that Gregory writes to... It would be a way for her brain to pick apart the individual traumas.
Yeah.
Let's see. Alright. Okay. Tuesday, June 17th, cloudy. Barn cleaning again. I've been neglecting the fields, so they're a bit of a mess. I must drive the insects and mice away. Wednesday, June 18th, clear skies. I did weeding today. The weather was beautiful. A great day to work in the fields. June 19th, clear skies, more weeding. I wanted to take Joshua out there with me to the fields, but his coughs were getting worse, so I had him stay in bed. Friday, June 20th, clear skies. Today I weeded the fields. Uh-oh, it was not a good day. June 21st, clear skies, planted peas in the ground. Uh-oh, it wasn't a good day. He's not saying it was a good day anymore. Sunday, June 22nd, cloudy. I thought of a good idea for a story. I'm going to take a day off from the fields and concentrate on refining it. June 23rd, clear skies. I did weeding today. Joshua told me he liked my latest story. There's nothing more I love than seeing his beaming, happy face. June 24th, clear skies. Weeding again. It feels great to work the fields on such a great day. Today I worked the fields. Work went well. Today I weeded the fields. Work went well. June 27th, I weeded the fields. Work went well. Wait. So he just says Joshua liked my story on June 23rd, and then after that, it's back to normal.
It's also possible that he passed away sometime after that.
On the 27th.
or before that, and Gregory was just writing that down, going through the motions.
Like, it's possible that Joshua was already dead before that, and his like imagination is Joshua liking the stories because that's what he wants to see.
Possibly, yeah.
There is so much left for the player to imagine. Okay, basement. Here we go. Now I'm gonna get locked in.
Oh boy.
Before I get locked in, this is... I've explored everything.
I believe so, yeah.
Okay. Like, sorry to be taking my sweet time on this, but I had no idea how much I missed. Holy crap. The thing that makes for great storytelling is leaving just enough for the player to kind of put the pieces together and either A, imagine what happened between them, or B, figure it out.
Another thing this game does very well, and that's it makes you think about it, and it leaves room to think about it.
Which is funny, because that's the exact opposite to what we said about the 3 chapters before this. It makes you feel like so much is happening and unclear that you can't really process it. What did we say about like the mermaid chapter and stuff? That the player is pigeonholed into thinking a specific way, and now that we've taken away Brown, we have to actually stop and explore everything?
Mm-hmm.
What a fantastic way of telling the story.
It really is, and it's something that games in general have just lost, unfortunately.
You hear that, game developers? Start making good games. Ah, welcome home. It's almost bedtime for you. Good night, Joshua. And he slams the door. And now we're locked in. Alright, so let me see if I can find... a bundle of letters were English. A bundle of letters were hidden under the bed sheets. Here we go. Okay. Here we go. So, what date did we say the diary ended? June 27th?
Yeah.
November 10th, to Mr. Joshua, the bear in distress. My name is Wendy. I always watch you from the sky, Mr. Joshua. Why are you trapped down there? So, here's the question. The diary was written in June of 1929. And in November... Okay, I think this is where we can kind of put the timeline together on how long Jennifer's been trapped in the house. November 10th... Because when did the airship crash? Would that also have been in June?
Possibly?
Okay, theory. What are the odds that the Joshua in the diary we just read by Gregory is not Joshua, but actually Jennifer?
That could be a possibility, because it's not... There's no way to tell because of the way Gregory is.
Mm-hmm. So... Because he's in like a monotony, and then he suddenly starts talking about Joshua, and then he's back in a monotony. So... if we say that she was in the house in June of 1929, then these letters would be exchanges between her and Wendy until the April where Wendy gets her out. And if that's the case, then she would have been in Gregory's house for over a year. for almost a
Goes
year.
down. Yeah, almost a year because I think the the story starts in March. No, the orphanage sequences start in April.
Mm-hmm. March just happens to be when you get off the bus. Let's see. 10th of November, to Mr. Joshua, the bear in distress. My name is Wendy. I've come to watch from the sky. Have you been trapped down here? 27th of November, from W to J. My prince in need of rescue. It was a pleasure to meet you, my dear prince. What a wonderful encounter. Yes, I only wish there was a world for just you and I, the prince and the princess. Don't worry, I'll set you free. I like how quickly it goes from Joshua to from W to J. Meaning that Wendy may know that Joshua is actually Jennifer.
Yeah, possibly by that point.
But Jennifer would still be the prince. Would be Wendy's prince.
Yeah.
Lady J, my poor kind prince, you're worried because that man sometimes seems crazy, right? Well, don't worry, I know where he hides that awful thing of his. So let's run away together. We can leave it all to me. Everything will be alright. 20th of January, from W to J. My prince, please don't worry. I'll do anything for you. Just pledge your love for me. That's all I ask. Wendy's kind of manipulative, isn't she?
Yep.
W to J, thank you, my eternal prince. Tomorrow night I shall unlock your shackles. Let us live together forever. Everlasting, true love, I am yours. Huh. I still didn't find any diary by Joshua. Oh, look under the blanket. A boy's shirt, pants, and shoes have been neatly laid out on the bed. For some reason, Jennifer feels a sudden pain in her chest. Yeah, I don't want to see that. I want to see the picture on the wall. Oh, I remember this frustrating me. You have to try the cupboard until the teddy bear falls over. There we go. Or try the wardrobe.
Yeah.
This newspaper clipping is pinned up. Here we go. 23rd of June, 1929. Luxury airship missing. England's largest luxury airship just set sail on its Virgin flight. A flight celebrated across the country with great fanfare. It was reported today to have gone off course and is currently missing. It is speculated that the vessel diverted from its course to avoid a low-pressure system approaching from the south, but its whereabouts are still unknown. Due to the heavy thunder and rain that have blanketed the area since yesterday, the search for the airship has faced many difficulties. So it straight up got struck out of the sky.
Yeah, and right before, or right about the time Joshua died. Because that diary ended on the 27th.
Oh my god.
The 23rd was the last entry, with Joshua in it.
Which would really explain why Gregory went to see the airship.
Yeah.
He would have wanted to see it for Joshua. And then he found Jennifer. Here, we found a teddy bear.
Jennifer.
An adorable teddy bear with a green ribbon tied around its neck. Right then, the trapped unlucky girl heard a gentle voice. I came, just like I promised. It looks like you went somewhere. Stay right there. I'll help you out. I want to see the picture on the wall. I want to see the drawing on the wall. Can I, please? Nope, I'm only focused on the clothes. Name.
The picture of the orphanage.
And there's the letters again. If it's a picture of the orphanage, I'm surprised the game isn't letting me explore that. Well, let's examine the teddy bear, I guess. Use. Nothing happened. No shock, no surprise there. Look. A cute and cuddly teddy bear. Was it gonna let me have an option to drop this now? Nope. Because I did it twice. Arg.
Nope.
Hello? When did that get there? No, I don't want to see the sheets. There's another picture on the wall. Let me try to angle that camera again. Yeah, there's a picture of Wendy right under on the frame. So this was really where her memories are all muddled. Okay. I guess I just had to wait for a bit. Jennifer, I unlocked the door. I'll keep a lookout, so hum right away. Yeah, so... possibly Jennifer was not an amnesiac, but just captive for so long that she didn't get a chance to get over the trauma of losing her parents because she was kidnapped right after the airship crashed.
Possible too. Yeah.
Oh, God, this poor girl. Anything I need to explore as I'm heading out?
Not as far as I know.
Is there not a diary by Joshua?
I don't think there's one by Joshua.
Right, there's Wendy. Let's run away before that man comes back. Before we go, we should find that dangerous thing and take it with us. It's for his own good. Oh yeah, I should be able to get to the study again. I'm fine now. Let us go, shall we? How come I couldn't find the revolver then?
Oh, actually.
Come to think of it, the game leads you to this room. Oh, I guess I'm just holding on to Gregory's diary now. And there goes Wendy. Alright, the house has been explored. This really is just tragedy after tragedy.
It really is.
That said, Joshua... there he is looking for me. And I'm just running out of here. Roseway. Huh. Possibly this is what inspired the rule of the rose?
Yeah, because there's the rose garden there.
I'm so glad. Now we can always be together. Say, I have a favor I wanted to ask. Will you trade your teddy bear with my brooch? And it's the brooch that she always wears. I'm so happy. We should give him a name. How about Joshua? Joshua, yes, that's a wonderful name. I'll cherish him as much as I cherish you. So let's renew our pact. Everlasting, true love, I am yours. Would you like to save? Yes!
Save that game.
Save that game! And now we're in October. Alright, before we get to that, thoughts. I feel bad that I missed so much when I played this the first time around.
There's a lot of stuff that's really easy to miss in this game, too.
Which, that also explains why it never occurred to me to use the gun rather than to fire it in the final boss fight. Like, I never would have figured that out.
Yeah, it's a thing because there is nothing that tells you one way or the other. If you missed that scene, in the basement window.
Because it tells you that he's already balancing with the thought of doing it himself. So when he says, please don't shoot during the final boss fight, that's what would have led the player to, like, what else can I do? I guess I can just use it. And that's what leads you to the ending. I can compliment this game on its amazing way of telling the story, but the fact that you can miss so much so easily, I'm not sure if that was supposed to be, like, an idea to make people want to play the game again. Because the way I felt so confused right until the end of the game, I immediately wanted to replay it personally because I felt like I missed a lot. But I don't know if that's the same for other people who would have played this game and would have just been confused and been like, what's so great about this game? I'm putting it down. Blech. You know?
Yeah, and some of that was just kind of how games were at that point. I mean, you said the same thing about Silent Hill 1 and Silent Hill 3. Where if you missed the red liquid, you just missed it. You're going to have to do it again.
And there's nothing that tells you about the good plus ending with Kaufman. You have to go out of your way for that one.
Yeah. Twice.
3 times.
Yeah.
Because you have to. Because once you go out of your way to explore the. So it's likely that you wouldn't even figure out. Let's see, because you have to save them at the convenience store, and then you have to go to the general store, find the safe that has the White Claudia in it, and then a note from Dr. Kaufman, and that leads you to his apartment, or no, to his hotel room, where you find the motorcycle filled with White Claudia. And even if you got that far, you wouldn't know what that is unless if you explored the police station before going to the hospital, which you could only explore before the hospital, and nothing sends you in that direction.
Yeah.
So even if you got the good plus ending, you wouldn't know half of what was happening. And I guess the reason why we can say that's a product of the time is because video games were expensive. They were a luxury.
And often rented.
Oh, yeah. Renting video games was a saving grace, but when you actually, like, owned a game, odds are you only owned, like, 1 or 2 during the NES period, and then maybe 5 during the PS2 period, if you were of, like, middle, lower class.
I think the price per game had effectively dropped by the middle of the PS2 era.
Mm-hmm.
I know a lot of the games that I had that were PS1 were like secondhand.
Oh yeah, like
including the Resident Evil game.
The reason I have so many games is because I went to used media stores and got them for like $20.
Yeah.
But, like, if y'all think Rule of Rose is expensive now for a copy because it only got 1 print, $4,000, yeah, that's pricey. But also think on the fact that when this game came out, it probably would have been, what, $80 for an M-rated game? $60?
I don't think it was that much. They may have been running about, like, 30 or 40, but also inflation.
Yeah. 30 and 40 was still a lot.
Yeah.
So, the point I'm getting at is it's not a lot to ask of a person to play a game more than once, because odds are you only had so many games.
Yeah.
like, games were made to be played over and over and over. So I feel like that's kind of why the older games were more challenging. You got your money's worth out of a good game.
Or they got a whole lot of rental money out of you.
Because it's a good game.
Yeah.
You ever spend more renting a game than actually than the physical copy was worth?
Oh. Yeah, probably.
Blockbuster had me on speed dial. That's not even a joke. I had my house on speed dial because I would actually be late with games so often. Oh, thank you for the kiss, Panda. But back to the topic at hand. So, I guess I'm just dumbfounded at how much I missed because now my brain is putting together, like, what Joshua would have been. I still think Joshua would have had a similar hair color to Jennifer based on the faded image. His hair might have just looked darker because of the fading itself.
Yeah, maybe.
I guess the only thing that really bugs me is the fact that there's no... The character who is the least consistent appearance-wise in this game is Gregory himself. So, I'm wondering if that's just Jennifer's mind, like, warping the image of him repeatedly? Or what?
Maybe.
Any final thoughts?
This chapter is definitely one of the most lore heavy in the game, even if it doesn't look like it to begin with. So yeah, this is kind of a critical point in the game, and it doesn't make sense why it is a critical point in the game until after you beat the game.
I was gonna say, like, this is the chapter where I was thrown off the most, and it almost sounded like you expected that. But at the same time, like, 2 chapters in, it sounded like you expected me to know something that I didn't know, and I feel like... Did you just put 2 and 2 together when I picked up the diary? It was like, they never read this.
It's like, this makes a little bit more sense now.
Like, you were following the story better than I was at that point. I was like, what is happening?
A lot.
A lot. Oh, God. All right. We mentioned earlier that the game explains a lot without actually explaining anything, and how that's brilliant that they really do leave just the right amount of leeway for the player to kind of fill in the plot holes.
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense because memories like this will never really be perfect. And especially, more than 10 years after.
The human mind will... I've mentioned this before, like when we were talking about how a lot of people who have PTSD don't even know they have PTSD. It's because self-preservation instinct, the mind will engage a situation that it is incapable of handling and block it out. Not just because the person themselves don't want to tackle the incident mentally, but because their brain literally just cannot handle or process what happened. So it waits until the brain has matured, or until the thought process of the person has matured and is able to tackle the situation a piece at a time, like what we're doing with this game.
And that also makes sense as to why you're playing through these events out of order, because this is a dreamscape, and it jumps from memory to memory rather than going through a chronological order.
But it delivers the memories in an order to you that makes sense.
Yeah.
And I actually I like that even the portions where the airship and the orphanage are kind of muddled together, it still feels segmented. Like, it gives you the ability to process each of the individual children, and now that we've gotten to June, the game is like, alright, you've now understood the other children. Now let's talk about Gregory. Okay, now you understand Gregory and the other children and the adults that work. You know about the people. Now that we're in October, we're going to the place.
Yeah, this is where you actually see the actual orphanage instead of the melded orphanage and airship, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. And it stays that way for the rest of the game.
Yeah, because we're not on the airship anymore. We're in the orphanage.
I remember that throwing me off the first time too, like just thinking to myself, why am I suddenly here? Like there's nothing that says the airship has landed. There's nothing that says the airship has landed. Literally, the airship just disappears.
Yeah.
That just occurred to me. Like,
Yeah.
did you hear my brain go ding?
Yeah, because there's no more airship.
There just is no more airship.
And then time passes in Gregory's house, and now it's just the orphanage.
Huh. All right. Anything else we want to add before I wrap this up here?
I think we've covered most of that.
All right. Then for the folks on YouTube, this is Cheshire the Cat signing off, and I will see you guys hopefully actually in October, and the game doesn't be all like JK lol. We're going to Octonovember now. I mean, kind of. Alright, I'll see you guys next time. Till then, take care. Ta-ta for now.